Welcome to the deep dive. Today, we're taking a deep dive into a habit that, well, it touches almost everyone's life: procrastination.
Mm,
We've pulled together a really rich stack of insights, famous quotes, expert advice, research. And our mission really is to move beyond the usual assumptions and try to understand what's truly beneath that urge to delay.
it's fascinating, isn't it? Because
Okay.
the collected wisdom in our materials, it points out that just taking that very first step on any task,
Yeah.
whether it's a big work project or, just a household chore, maybe something creative, that often feels like the most daunting part.
Right.
It's that initial inertia. It can be so hard to push past.
That's such a powerful point. It makes you realize how much of the battle is simply getting started, doesn't it?
It really is.
And when we dig into the root causes, it's rarely just about being lazy, is it? The research highlights a whole spectrum,
Totally.
from simple things like distractions or maybe just a lack of enthusiasm, all the way to deeper issues, things like perfectionism or a real fear of failure.
Or even sometimes connections to mental health conditions
Mm.
that comes up too.
Exactly. And this is where the nuance comes in, which these insights really emphasize. Procrastination isn't always bad.
No, absolutely not. It can be harmless, sometimes even beneficial. Maybe it lets you reflect or gives you a burst of energy later on.
Right.
But, and this is the crucial bit, it also has that very real potential to negatively impact your life,
Yeah.
to hold you back, from achieving what you want.
Understanding that difference seems key then.
It is. It's vital.
Okay, so let's unpack this, maybe starting with what I sometimes think of as the last-minute panic perspective.
Yes.
Yep.
The deadline junkies.
Exactly.
Mm.
Those people who swear they do their best work under pressure. The compiled advice, it tells us some individuals intentionally delay. They shorten their time frame, hoping for like a boost of motivation or creative energy.
Mm-hmm.
Bill Watterson, Calvin and Hobbes, he famously said, you can't just turn on creativity like a faucet. You have to be in the right mood.
Okay.
What mood is that? Last-minute panic.
It's a common belief, definitely. And it's certainly true that deadlines can provide a powerful jolt. Rita Mae Brown kind of echoed that, saying if it weren't for the last minute, nothing would get done.
Huh, right.
And for those who really embrace it, there's Douglas Adams' classic line, I love deadlines. I like the whooshing sound they make as they fly by.
That idea, though, of a last-minute boost, do you think that's actually a sustainable or healthy strategy for most people? Or is it maybe more of a rationalization for putting things off?
That's a great question. And the consensus from the materials we looked at, it implies it's often the latter, more of a rationalization.
Okay.
Because while some might feel that burst of energy, it often comes at a cost. Higher stress, maybe lower quality work.
Right, burnout eventually.
Exactly.
Yep.
Burnout. Max Brooks, he cautions against cramming. He suggests you might think twice about building your ark once it's already raining.
Good analogy.
And Byron Pulsifer offers a gentler counterpoint. He advises that doing just a little bit during the time we have available puts you that much further ahead.
Than if you took no action at all. Yeah, that makes sense. Small steps.
Mm-hmm. And then there's Rabindranath Tagore's quote, which is quite introspective. I have spent my days stringing and unstringing my instrument while the song I came to sing remains unsung.
Oof. That really highlights the potential for, unfulfilled potential, doesn't it? When that last-minute rush just never quite comes together.
Precisely. The risk of things left undone.
But it's truly fascinating how it's not always seen as negative, isn't it? The insights we gather, they highlight this almost rebellious kind of lighter side to delay,
Yeah.
where procrastination isn't viewed as a flaw at all, but maybe just a benign or even an enjoyable tendency, like a playful defiance of urgency.
Absolutely. Think about Mark Twain's classic take, never put off till tomorrow what may be done the day after tomorrow just as well.
Classic Twain.
And Martha Raleigh Curtin reminds us that time you enjoy wasting is not wasted time. These quotes sort of embrace a laid-back approach, suggesting that sometimes pausing or, diverting your attention, that can be part of living fully too.
And I loved Safrank's analogy. He suggests a good procrastination should feel like you're inserting lots and lots of commas into the sentence of your life.
That's a lovely image.
It really shifts procrastination from being a flaw to almost an art form, doesn't it? A way of intentionally slowing down the pace. But then I guess we have to ask, when does that art form become self-sabotage?
And that's the crucial pivot point, isn't it? While that perspective certainly has its charm, we absolutely have to address the very real shadow side.
Right.
For many people, it leads to significant negative consequences and deep regret.
Indeed. This is where the weight of those lost opportunities really settles in. Karen Lamb's quote hits hard. A year from now, you may wish you had started today.
It's a stark reminder.
And Benjamin Franklin's truth is just blunt. You may delay, but time will not, and lost time is never found again.
Stephen King, he bluntly calls out the scholar's greatest weakness, calling procrastination research.
Yeah, that captures the rationalization perfectly.
It really does illustrate how we can talk ourselves into avoidance.
Yeah.
Ultimately, though, Sidney J. Harris captures the deepest sadness, I think. It is regret for the things we did not do that is inconsolable.
Wow.
It emphasizes that the deepest wounds often come from inaction, not from the mistakes we make when we do act.
That really hits home. So connecting this idea of regret to the bigger picture, the material we've reviewed takes us even deeper. There are quotes linking procrastination to these big existential questions about life, purpose, the passage of time.
Yeah, what's fascinating here is how these quotes spark reflection on our relationship with our own mortality, really.
How so?
Well, Lucius and Seneca observed, we are always complaining that our days are few and acting as though there would be no end of them. It just highlights our contradictory relationship with time, how we often take it for granted despite knowing it's limited.
And Pablo Picasso, he throws down a real gauntlet.
Oh,
Only put off until tomorrow what you are willing to die having left undone.
that's a powerful challenge, isn't it? It forces you to prioritize what truly matters.
It really does. And Sidney Smith calls us to action, saying, to do anything in this world worth doing, we must not stand back shivering.
But jump in and navigate through as well as we can. Yeah, less hesitation, more doing.
Arnold Bennett reminds us of the constancy of time. We shall never have more time. We have and have always had all the time there is.
It's a direct call to seize the moment, essentially. No point waiting for more time.
Right. And of course, Charles Dickens gives us the classic, maybe the most famous warning, never do tomorrow what you can do today. Procrastination is the thief of time.
These insights, taken together, they really urge us to live with intention, to not just let life sort of pass us by while we're waiting for the right time.
Okay, so we've explored these really diverse perspectives, from that exhilarating last-minute rush to the quiet ache of regret and these deeper existential threads. The crucial question then becomes, how do we navigate this tendency when it genuinely holds us back?
Right, the practical side.
Exactly. Our compiled wisdom, thankfully, offers some truly practical strategies for overcoming procrastination when it's become a problem.
And a key insight here, I think, is understanding that procrastination often stems from an emotional root.
An emotional root.
Yeah. When you're faced with a task, negative emotions like anxiety about failing or maybe just boredom or feeling totally overwhelmed, those feelings can take hold.
And you freeze up?
Exactly. You freeze or you retreat. The strategies are really aimed at breaking that cycle.
So if you find yourself stuck, Hilary Mantel advises getting away from your desk. She suggests take a walk, create a space, be patient.
That's interesting. It's not about forcing it, but about creating mental distance.
Precisely. It allows for a kind of cognitive reset. It gives your brain a chance to process the task differently without that immediate pressure.
That makes sense. Then there's Benjamin Franklin's direct wisdom, which is just timeless. Don't put off until tomorrow what you can do today.
Simple but powerful. It underscores the value of immediate action. And Roy T. Bennett encourages bravery. Your life is happening right now. Don't let procrastination take over your life. Be brave and take risks. That really speaks to the bigger picture, doesn't it? Living fully.
It does. Dale Carnegie emphasizes daily focus. The best possible way to prepare for tomorrow is to concentrate on doing today's work superbly today.
Focus on the now.
And Erica Jong points to a common fear. We are so scared of being judged that we look for every excuse to procrastinate.
Perfectionism again.
Exactly. It highlights perfectionism as a really significant trigger. And to counter that, the materials suggest, giving yourself permission to make mistakes. That can dramatically lower the barrier to just starting.
That's huge. Abraham Lincoln reminds us that you cannot escape the responsibility of tomorrow by evading it today. You still have to face it.
There's no escaping it.
And H. Jackson Brown Jr. offers that powerful perspective on time equality, pointing out you have exactly the same number of hours per day that were given to Helen Keller, Pasteur, Michelangelo, Albert Einstein.
Right. It really puts our excuses about not having enough time into perspective.
It really does.
Mason Cooley sums it all up so concisely. Procrastination makes easy things hard and hard things harder.
So true.
And when it comes to actually tackling it, self-awareness really is the first step. Insights from these materials suggest practical things like breaking larger tasks into smaller subtasks.
Making them less daunting.
Yes, setting SMART goals, specific, measurable, achievable, relevant, and time-bound, using time or task management methods, like the Pomodoro technique, perhaps.
Those seem like solid, actionable steps.
And crucially, practicing healthy habits. Things like eating well, sleeping enough. They maximize your energy and focus. These are often overlooked, but they're fundamental.
Right. If you're consistently exhausted, your willpower to fight procrastination is going to be lower naturally.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
These holistic approaches really emphasize that understanding why you delay is just as important as the strategies you use to overcome it.
So knowing your triggers.
Yes. The research highlights common triggers like difficulties with planning or sequencing tasks, decision fatigue, high-stress situations. Understanding your personal triggers is key.
And if you're trying to help someone else?
Good question. The materials suggest offering practical support, maybe helping them break down a task, giving praise when they do complete something, sharing strategies that worked for you gently, and helping them think about rewarding themselves.
That's helpful. But this raises an important question. When does procrastination move beyond just a simple habit and become something more serious?
That's a critical distinction. The insights compiled indicate that chronic procrastination, where it's really pervasive and damaging, affects around 20% of U.S. adults.
Wow, that's 1 in 5.
It's significant. And it's important to understand that while procrastination itself isn't classified as a mental disorder,
Okay.
it can absolutely be a symptom of underlying conditions. Things like anxiety, depression, or neurodivergence, which describes natural variations in the brain affecting learning, attention, mood, like ADHD, for example.
Yeah. So if it's really impacting your daily life, your work, your education, that's when you might need to look deeper.
Exactly. If it's causing significant problems, it may well be worth exploring with a professional.
And therapy can be really helpful here, presumably.
Yes. The expert advice explains that a therapist can provide a safe space, first of all, and guidance to identify those root causes.
Like the perfectionism, fear of failure, or maybe an underlying condition.
And then equip you with specific skills and strategies for management. They even highlight the convenience and effectiveness of online therapy now, which makes it more accessible for many people.
That holistic approach, again, understanding the why just as much as the how.
That's right. Self-awareness is the foundation.
Okay. So we've taken quite a deep dive into procrastination today, and what we found is, well, people's approaches to tasks and deadlines vary wildly, don't they, with really mixed results.
Definitely.
From those, energizing last-minute bursts we talked about, all the way to the profound weight of significant regrets. The quotes and insights we've explored, they provide such a rich tapestry for examining your own relationship with delay.
It's a habit that really does reveal so much about us, doesn't it?
Oh, it really does. So, as you reflect on what we've discussed today, maybe consider this provocative thought. What might your procrastination be trying to tell you? About your hidden strengths, perhaps, your fears, or maybe the true importance or lack thereof of the task at hand. Perhaps the base insight isn't just about stopping procrastination, but about understanding what it reveals about your own inner landscape.